let's talk about that project we always have simmering in the background. The one that makes your heart feel warm and fuzzy, but somehow it always ends up in the back burner. But then, those days when life gets tough, we tend to daydream about that project, imagining how bringing it to life could save us from our chaotic or boring existence. But here's the thing, sometimes those dreams just stays like that, as dreams. We might think that achieving them may solve all our problems, but what if that doesn't happen? What if you're left feeling lost without something else to aim for? And let's be real, failure is scary. What if we put all our energy to make that dream a reality just to see it crash and burn? So we keep that project on the sidelines, like a cozy lamp on the bedside table. It's there to comfort us when we need it, but we never really put the effort to bring it into life. Maybe it's safer that way, keeping it in the realm of imagination where it really can't disappoint us. But hey, maybe it's time to shake things up. Maybe it's time to dust off that project and it's time to give it the real attention and intention that it actually deserves. This project is working for you, but you are not working for it, and that's not fair. Why are you paralyzed? Well, deep down, you don't feel worthy. After all, who are you to go after your dreams? Maybe you think, I'm not enough and I will fail. All those negative thoughts are absolutely winning the mind battle, and that is exactly why you are postponing yourself. You might be there trying to please others without even realizing you probably are acting like a people pleaser. But you know what? You aren't pleasing anyone because deep down you feel that underlying self-betrayal feeling. You aren't being true to yourself. You aren't being authentic. You don't want to expose yourself. And yes, being authentic is painful. Being real hurts the most when we are criticized for the very things we were authentic for. When you expose your true original self, you will always get negative feedback from the outside world. And when that happens, don't be quick to pull yourself back in. Understand that you might be completely correct, but the world is pushing back because your expression of truth is challenging others. If you're feeling you are stuck in life, I assure you that this video will be incredibly helpful. My name is Tutsi. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for being here. And down below in the description box, you can find all the chapters for this whole video. Okay, so you're here because you have a project in your mind, right? Maybe you want to start a profitable business, or you want to study a new career. Maybe you want to travel around the world. Perhaps you want to travel to a specific country to learn a new language. I don't know, maybe you live in a big city and you're sick of it and all you want is to move to nature, the mountains or the beach and have more of a minimalist life. And literally that's the story of my life. 2 years ago I left the chaos of living in big cities, and I moved to a place that is surrounded by nature in the middle of nowhere. Is a very tiny village. So yes, every or any dream counts here. Some people maybe will want to go to Africa to help people that struggle a lot to find resources like water. Some other people dream to buy a, I don't know, sailing boat to sail all around the world. Or perhaps you just want to travel to those countries where there is wars and you want to help the vulnerable people that are suffering there. Maybe you are someone with a traditional job and you want to become an artist. There is million different things you can dream of, and nothing, absolutely nothing, is better or worst. Everything is absolutely acceptable. It really just depends on you. All right, listen up. This is a wake up call for you to go all in on yourself. Forget about everything else for a second and just focus on what you want. Your goals, they are waiting for you to take them seriously. The only thing that is between you and crushing those goals is your daily habits and where you put your focus on. So ditch the distractions, the negative vibes, the haters, the endless scroll on social media. Just get rid of all that junk. It's time to shut it all down and laser focus on what really matters. You and your passion. Truth is, you will never feel completely ready. So why keep on waiting? Deep down, you know you want those goals bad. But what about all the stuff that you are doing that it's not helping? It's like putting a damper on that fire inside you. Get rid of all the distractions and let that fire burning inside you push you forward. You know that feeling when you are keeping yourself busy with this and that, but then when you look back, it feels like you haven't accomplished anything substantial? That's frustrating, right? Well, that's a clear sign you need to go all in something specific. Sure, you're doing a lot of stuff, but you know what? You're spreading yourself too thin. It's like after all you do, you're still stuck at square one. Laser focus on one thing. And of course, you keep on doing the rest of the obligations, but you can be less strict. I don't know, for example, be less obsessive with cleaning, right? You need to release the pressure from some place to be able to use all that energy on what you want to prioritize. You have the potential. And how I know? Because you care. Because otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video right now. So now it's time to grab that potential and put it into action. Stop trying to go everywhere and slowly start having a clear direction. Why do you postpone yourself? The fool does at last what the wise does at once. You might have this mental checklist of all those things that really matter to you versus those things that you have to do, which, well, let's call the obligations. The thing is that usually all those obligations end up taking 99% of your time, leaving you no free time and no mental energy for those things that you really care about. Take, I don't know, fitness, for example. So you start your fitness journey, and before you know, life gets really crazy, and when you want to realize it, you have already fallen off the wagon. And I don't know, even when you really try super hard to squeeze in a session here or a session there, it's almost impossible to keep it in the long term. Why this almost always happens? Well, let's call it self-sabotage. It's like we are our worst enemies sometimes. Deep down, we don't want to do well. Our subconscious minds tell us you don't deserve this. We let life get in the middle because we don't set clear and healthy boundaries with the external world and also with our own internal world. For example, I don't know, an example of an internal boundary with ourselves. Let's say it's late at night, and instead of, having a calm, relaxing environment, not watching anything 1 hour before going to sleep on, screens, whatever, so we can have a good night of rest, and then the day after we can have more energy to tackle more things. So, but there we are, scrolling on the phone. Absolutely unnecessary and unpurposeful. So yeah, anyways, whenever we let life get in the middle of us and our project, we make it almost impossible to stick to our passion. But you know which the big issue is? The issue and the main source of the problems is that our lives are crazy complicated. And living complicated lives, it's self-sabotage too. So the examples that first come to my mind, sorry for the girls, as these are going to be like all girly examples, and yet also sorry for the guys because probably this won't help you. But anyways, just it's what comes to my mind. I don't know, spending hours weekly putting makeup on, spending hours getting nails done, spending hours on a week doing online shopping, doing hair treatments that take hours. And I know those things are important for us as women, girls, whatever, but we can use makeup once a week or twice a week, or we can get our nails done once a month instead of always having our nails done. I don't know. I know this is these are such superficial examples, but it's just another thing also. It's, I don't know, I personally try to use very similar clothes every day, so I don't have to be thinking what I'm going to wear. But okay, then once a week, I can dress up and think way more what I wear, whatever. But usually Monday to Friday it's go, and I try to do try to just do those things that I really need, that I can't live without. Of course you have to wake up, wash your tooth. That is something you can't take out of your list. But everything else that I can remove from my list, that is not going to affect my life or performance, I take them out so I can go all in as early as I can and start working early in the morning on what I need to work on. Life passes most people by while they are making great plans for it. You don't need to look great every single day, and you don't need to look great wherever you go. So relax on those self-imposed high expectations. It's crucial to free up time to, for example, if you don't even know which one is your passion, you need to free up time so you can find out which is your passion. And if you already know which one it is, then you need as much as time as you have in your hands to be able to develop that passion. It's like we spend so much time waiting around for life to throw stuff at us instead of going out there making things happen. And I don't know, another thing is, instead of waiting to find the meaning of things out there, why we don't go and we start giving our own meaning and value to things. It's about taking charge and giving our own spin to things. If you're feeling all my obligations are leaving me absolutely mentally drained at the end of the day, then it's time to finish with this negative cycle. Simplify things, set boundaries, say no to bad habits, say no, sorry, I can't go to that gathering. It's about taking charge and live life in your own terms. Passion, it's like fuel for our souls, driving us forward and bringing fulfillment to our lives. So, yes, I want to describe this part of my life when I went all in. When I was much younger, I went with my best friend at that time to a Caribbean island called Saint Martin. That's a super cool island that it's half French and half Dutch. There, me and my friend were lying on the beach, and for the first time in my life, I saw a yacht. It wasn't a massive, luxurious, like amazing looking yacht, but it still was a yacht. Then our holidays finished and I went back home. At that time, I was studying finance at university and I was working and I was having an alright life. But for some reason, the image of this yacht was coming to my head. Like it was my intuition or something talking to me. Then all of a sudden, one day, I started saying, I wanna work on a yacht. But I won't share this with anyone because people are going to think I'm crazy or I'm an absolute daydreamer. This happened more or less 15 years ago, and by then yachting wasn't a thing. I mean, saying I work on a yacht wasn't popular at all. I know these days it's so much popular. There's this famous TV show called Below Deck, where a lot of people get close to the reality of working on a yacht, even though that is just a TV show and it's not a real showcase of what it really means to work in a yacht, but okay, whatever. So that show makes it so much approachable to people to watch that and then say, well, I want to work on a yacht, or it's more around. Also, I am from Argentina, and it's like no one sees a yacht in Argentina. Like even saying the word yacht is absolutely rare. So anyways, I'm like, I'm not going to share this with anyone. I will keep it as something for myself. So by then, my parents were on the food business. They were owning a bakery. They had like this very established business, and they were old school and they were conservative. I will have to add also that no one in my family or in my group of friends or in the group of people I knew like had worked on a yacht, so it wasn't familiar for absolutely anyone in the environment where I was surrounded with. Anyways, I have this intuition telling me, go girl, do it. I started researching, and I remember one day I found a book online of a South African girl that was explaining her whole experience landing her first ever job on a yacht, and she was explaining which courses to do, where to travel to get more, like where and when to travel to get more chances to get your first ever job on a yacht. She was teaching people on how to make your CV, and it was great because it was telling me all these things I had no idea about. Anyways, I don't want to make this story super long, but at that time I was 1000% sure that that was what I wanted to do with my life. My plan was to initially travel to Fort Lauderdale, which is a place located in United States, and it's, I think, if the second biggest port where there's the most yachts in the whole entire world. But of course, when I was still in Argentina, this project was the biggest reason for me to, leave or whatever. It was what was fueling me, and I was kind of high on, I was so happy and everything because I'm like, yes, I will do this and this will be amazing. And I couldn't hide it anymore. I started telling it to my friends and to my family, and the answers were as bad as I expected, or even worse. People either hated what I was talking about, or they were like, she's just chatting absolute nonsense. But I will never forget what my father told me when I told him I wanted to work on a yacht. He was like, oh, yeah, you want to work with those people with a lot of money, right? They will grab you, they will do whatever they want to you, and when they are in the middle of the ocean, they will throw you, and no one ever will find you again, because those people do whatever they want and they never get in trouble. So, yeah, that was what my father said. Go, and you will go and you will get killed, and they will discard you in the ocean. Also, my family in general was always having this idea in their minds that I was kind of stupid, dumb, naive. They were like, people will take advantage of you. Just don't do it. Don't go. You won't survive. You will get lost. Anyways, I didn't care about any of that. I did it and I worked 12 years on yachts. Right now, I'm not working away because I'm raising my child, but I did it for quite a lot of years. So I want to say that there is not one day that I regret that, like, starting a career on yachting. Not one day. And yes, when I was working on yachts, there were a lot of bad days, really bad days. People betrayed me. Some of my bosses psychologically abused me. I mean, they were very mean. And when I say some bosses, it's because I work in a lot of different yachts. It was, I think, 12 different boats. So I think like one or two captains didn't pay me at the end of the month and I had to leave. Then there was this captain. I was in Fort Lauderdale. He hired me and three other girls there. We sailed all the way to Costa Rica. Once we get to Costa Rica, the owner of the yacht came with his family. The owner of the yacht stayed 2 weeks, and as soon as the owner left with his family, the captain fired me and these other three girls that, you know, we all were hired in Fort Lauderdale. So he fired us in Costa Rica and he was like, girls, I'm not going to pay your way back, whatever. So we were there with no jobs because he hired 4 girls in Costa Rica for way less money than what he hired us. And of course, the son of a bitch was keeping the difference between our salaries and those girls' salaries for himself. So anyways, there I was, super depressed, crying non-stop, almost running out of money and having to buy my own ticket from Costa Rica because I was not going to find any job there, all the way back to Fort Lauderdale at my own expense. So yeah, when I went back to Fort Lauderdale, to like being unemployed, it's very expensive in a city like Fort Lauderdale. So I remember I was paying $200, and this was 15 years ago, $200 a week for a shared bedroom of 6 beds. It was just for girls, and then we all had to share one toilet and one shower. So $200 a week plus all the food and everything. So a month looking for a job was going to be like $1,200, like nothing. So I was like, fuck, I will, if I run out of money, this means I had to go all the way back to Argentina. And if that would have happened, in Argentina, people were going to tell me, we told you you were not ready for this. You wasted all this money for nothing. You're such a naive girl. That idea you had was such a stupid idea. But in the end, I didn't run out of money. And thanks God, I didn't have to go back home. Thanks to God and all the stars that align in the sky and the universe, finally I got a permanent, stable job where I work in the same yacht for about 2 years. Finally, my life was stable and my bank account was extremely healthy. But anyways, I was talking about how things went really wrong at some points and how some captains were really abusing their power to, yeah, be the kids. But anyways, even though they were even doing illegal stuff like, firing me, not paying me as per the contract, I was not going to sue them because what was I going to do? I was like a young girl from Argentina in the middle of nowhere. Like, I wouldn't, I, I wouldn't even consider the idea of hiring a lawyer and sue a yacht, like owned by a billionaire guy who probably has 10,000 lawyers working for him. So that idea never existed in my mind that, oh, this was illegal, I'm going to fight for my rights. I was like, universe will put everything in their place. I don't have to interfere myself. That will drain all my energy. So I kept on going. So yeah, things were really wrong, but also I have unforgettable, amazing memories. Going after your dreams is really hard, but also it's really rewarding. I cried so many nights in my pillow because the speed of life at that moment and the constant changes I had to adapt every single day were driving me crazy. But also on the other side of the spectrum, I was learning as fast as much and as much as I never did before. So yeah, dreams have their great and bad stuff. And it's never as you pictured initially in your mind. When you take a big decision, you're heading into a strong current, a current that will take you to places that you never dreamed of when you initially made that decision. But listen, all the bad stuff that happened wasn't enough to stop me from working on yachts. Because at the end of each year, when I was making a balance, always the good, or almost all of those years, the good was outweighing the bad. But when I talk about daily basis, well, that was a complete different story. On a daily basis, in general, there were so many days when the bad things outweighed the good things, and so many days when I'm like, I'm going to quit. This is not for me. I'm out. And some of those days I actually quit because I end up working in like 12 different yachts. So sometimes I quit it. But then after stopping for a while and rethinking things, I always went back to look for a job again. So I guess when you take big decisions and you have one bad day, you don't have to make, a big shift just because you have 1, 2, 3, 4 bad days. What matters is in the long term, which is the balance in the long term. Because my balance was good, is good. I don't regret it at all. Leaving home, leaving my family, leaving my boyfriend at that time behind, and all that to pursue that crazy idea of working on a yacht. And funny enough, as of today, I remember the great as great, and mostly all of the bad things, I remember them as funny memories. They are not negative or sad. I laugh a lot about, yes, like, fuck me, I was like fired in the middle of Costa Rica with no money. Today I tell it and I feel like, Jesus, but it doesn't make me feel sad. I don't want to sound mean with what I'm going to say now, but okay, so when I go back home, and since I left my home country, which happened 15 years ago, when I go, I always feel like I can't be there for too long. I felt like the time stopped there. Most people in my family complain about the same things. Some of my old friends having the same problems as 15 years ago. And I am like, fuck, imagine me being one of them. Imagine me having the same problems as more than a decade ago. I don't belong anymore to my home country. I kind of created this new reality, and where I live, I feel in sync with the people around me. Of course, I will always have a place in my heart for my family and friends, but also I gave myself permission to open the door for a new world and for new experiences, and I opened the door to meet new people. And I kind of have, because I changed reality so much, I now face different challenges. And I guess I much rather prefer my fresh problems rather than bitter facing the same old problems as before. Problems will always be around, challenges, whatever, but I prefer to have these new, more kind of evolved challenges. When I want to motivate myself to pursue my dreams, or when I feel like I'm too comfortable and I want to kick my own ass, I always go back to this phrase that I had printed in a paper, and it says something like this: take action. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by those that you did. So throw off the bowlines and sail away from the safe harbor. Catch the trade winds in your sails. Explore, discover. Loneliness. If you want to see progress in your life, well, I'm sorry, but you will have to say hi to loneliness. I mean, not forever, but at least for a long time. People are going to try to hold you back. People want to see you doing better as long as they don't see you doing better than them. Don't be surprised if your success turns some of your friends into complete strangers. Everybody loves you until you become competition. So yeah, most people want to see you do good, but never better than them. If you want to flourish, you have to go all in. And you don't need to have all those people who don't support you around you. You go tunnel vision. You focused on yourself, and that way you will get better. And yes, you can still love those people, but from the distance. You don't have to have them in your daily life. Enjoy the freaking way. Life works as seasons, so sometimes you will need to go all in, and sometimes you will have to step back and reflect. Embrace when it's difficult, because when it's difficult is exciting, because it means you are going somewhere better. Enjoy also when things are more calm, quiet, stagnant, because that's when you need to relax and you need to refuel to then in the future again be able to go all in. You can't go for more money and more success and more things every single day. There is times to face challenges, and also there is times to appreciate the way. Sometimes you need to forget your wallet and keep your life rich. And by this, I mean rich with valuable experiences. It's not like, well, nothing matters today. I will break my bank account and I will go and buy a Chanel purse. Spend your money in experiences that can help you to lead to your passion, or that can help you to develop your passion. If you want to just go, 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 you will burn out and you will go backwards. You will have to go back that way when you burn out to square one, or even behind square one. Burnout quite often comes with pills, antidepressants, and all those things no one wants. So yes, you need to learn to use all the gears. Sometimes you will need to walk. Sometimes you will need to sprint. Sometimes you run. Sometimes you jog. Sometimes you stop. And yes, sometimes you take reverse and you take a different pathway. But if you're going at high speed and 500 meters ahead, you have a high wall, You won't be able to shift directions, and you will go straight, and you'll hit that wall. And then at that point you will lose your physical integrity. I mean, you might get sick, you might get seriously injured, and then you will probably have to stop for a long while, and at that point all the turtles will pass you. I know, these turtles, right? The turtle winning the race is very, like, it's such a cliche, but it always works. There is so much toxic productivity surrounding us these days. Even a basic need like sleeping 8 hours has become like a self-care routine. And I know, like, as if it's an indulgence. It's all about carefully observing and planning how to use your computer for the long-term success. It's not like just, running like a headless chicken to go as fast as you can from point A to point B. Now I would like to talk about a book that tells a story that is so appropriate for the topic of this video. The Alchemist is a book written by the Brazilian author called Paulo Coelho. This, in my opinion, it's a fantastic book that I had the pleasure to read, I don't know, so many times especially during my childhood. And yeah, it's absolutely beautiful to read it. Now I would like to give you a brief overview of what this novel is all about, and then later I will share with you guys the main points that I take from this book. Santiago, the main character of this novel, is a shepherd who lives in Andalusia, Spain. He enjoys nothing else than living in the mountain, and then at night he sleeps in a rustic barn. He spends his days wandering with all his sheep, sipping wine, and also reading great books. He has very modest aspirations, and he feels absolutely at peace with that. He also really likes a girl, and he thinks he has everything he needs in life. But destiny has other plans for him. Soon he began to have this recurrent dream of a hidden treasure that is located behind the Egyptian pyramids. One day, Santiago randomly meets Malisek, who is a wise king from a faraway land. But this encounter wasn't actually random at all, because Malisek always appears for those in search of their personal legend, which is basically their genuine purpose in life. The phrase personal legend is an absolute key in this whole novel. The personal legend is that inner ambition, inner desire to dedicate our life to a specific goal. The personal legend is born from the soul of each person, with the universe conspiring to help everyone fulfill their deepest desire. Yet fear and routine often stay as barriers along the way. Santiago talks to Malisek about this dream that he's constantly having about a treasure hidden in Egypt. And Malisek, without even hesitating, encourages Santiago to leave his shepherd life behind and to go in the search for this treasure. But before Malisek leaves, he gives two precious stones to Santiago. A black stone called Urim, which means yes, and a white stone called Tunim, which means no. Santiago is told to use those precious stones when he is confused about the signs life is sending him. Santiago sets sail to Africa to look for that treasure and to follow his personal legend. But on his very first day in the Moroccan city of Tangier, Santiago is assaulted and robbed from all the money he earned from selling his whole flock of sheep. Santiago is left completely alone and without being able to speak any word of Arabic. Of course, at that point, Santiago is just thinking about giving everything up and going back home. But finally, he gets a job at a crystal shop and he stays there working for a whole year. After that year, he earns enough money to go back home and to buy again all his sheep. But finally, instead of going home, he gets into a caravan that crosses all the way from Morocco to Egypt, all the way through the desert. This way, Santiago gets closer to his dream. Along his journey through the desert, Santiago meets various different characters who teach him very important lessons about life, love, and destiny. Santiago learns to listen to his heart and follow his dreams, discovering that the true treasure lies not in material wealth, but in the pursuit of one's personal legend. He comes to realize that the true value doesn't lie just on reaching his destination, but on the journey itself. So that was a bit the beginning of this book. And then after the point where I stopped, million things happened. But now I would like to start speaking about the main things I took away from this book. And I will say that I'm sorry if what comes next is a bit cheesy, but well, sometimes cheesy is good. Okay, so there's this phrase I like a lot, and it says like this: the most simple things in life are the most extraordinary, and only the wise can see them. The fact that I don't like tattoos means I can't tattoo that phrase in my forehead, but if I would like tattoos, I would definitely have done that. Okay, so most people hate simplicity. Most people think simple is boring. Sometimes I even fall into this trap and I start overcomplicating things without even realizing. And then as soon as I realize my subconscious mind it's tricking me, I stop, I go back, and I redo things, of course, in a simple way. So please promise yourself that on this project that you want to go all in, you don't overcomplicate things. Don't be ultra perfectionist because in the beginning you need to start. You need to honestly kick your ass forward. And in that moment, perfectionism will just drag you down. Yes, there will be the right times in life to be meticulous. But in the beginning, starting with a rough and wild approach, it's usually the key to progress. You have to start when you aren't 100% ready, because if you are 100% ready, then that just means that you wait way too long to start this project. That just means that you have been postponing yourself. For example, I wanted to start on YouTube and I postponed it for several years because I always felt like, oh, my circumstances are not really good to, give it a go to this project. I was by then working on yachts. I was living in a shared bedroom, so I felt like I don't even have a bedroom for myself where I can film. But with today's diaries, I see, I realize I could have done things so differently. I could have starting, I don't know, filming with my iPhone, filming the interior of the yacht. I could have been there documenting my life as a crew member. I could have been telling my daily stories and blah blah blah. I wasn't thinking out of the box. Anyways, I can't fix the past. Then one day when I got pregnant and I stopped working on my last yacht when I was 7 months pregnant, I actually got fired. Like the captain called me to the office. I wasn't telling to anyone because I knew I was going to get fired and I was trying to raise as much money as possible. And the captain called me and said, when are you going to tell me you are pregnant? And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'm pregnant. And he's like, okay, it's your last day at work. Anyways, whatever. So I work when I finally moved to a home, I'm like, okay, now I will start doing YouTube videos. And what can I bring to the table? What can I teach to people? And I felt, well, since I've been chef on yachts, I can teach people cooking skills, my cooking skills. And then I finally started recording my first videos, and I absolutely hated every second of it. And I'm not exaggerating. I did not like it. I had to make shots of the food, which means I could not eat the food when it was at its best moment. And then I was, doing these great shots, but my food was cold and ugh. Like I'm like, no, I hate these. It's ruining my passion for food. I had to stop it. Like that shit wasn't for me. Now I'm doing these videos about psychology, and I'm really loving the process. And yes, I have a tiny channel. I have 220 subscribers so far, but I'm so thankful for each of them. And I really love the nice messages and support some of you guys give me. But anyways, all that story of me not starting YouTube when I really wanting it was just to show you need to kick your ass. You need to start when you are not ready, because then if you maybe you have this plan in your mind, maybe that's not the way, and when you try it you realize, well, that's not the way, and you don't enjoy doing that or whatever, so you can shift gears. Or it's always, yeah, it's a reminder of start. Just start and see how you feel. Okay, so another key point of the Alchemist is this term that comes very often in this book, that it's fulfill the personal legend. This is a term that has been invented by the author to basically talk about the purpose that each person must fulfill in their lives. Fulfilling that purpose is what will help us to live in harmony. In the book, it's stated that from the moment we are born, we know which is our purpose in life. However, over time, a mysterious force convinces us that it's not possible to fulfill our personal legend. We start feeling it's impossible, and we end up forgetting it. Sorry, guys, I don't know about you, but to me, this makes complete sense. This whole idea that we are born knowing which is our purpose is so right to me. This makes complete sense because I've heard a lot of times that kids are the humans that have the most developed and the strongest intuition. Kids aren't heavily influenced and polluted by the system as we adults are. For kids, everything is clear and everything is possible. Kids aren't scared to dream about those things they want to happen in their lives. But as time passes, the whole environment starts convincing us that our purpose, our dream, it's not possible. There's that mysterious force that I already talked about, that convinces us that we can't fulfill our destiny. And I guess that mysterious force can be called adulthood. I'm a mom, and I can assure that this common belief that kids are highly intuitive is absolutely true. So, for example, I don't know, sometimes I want to get into the house, like I'm making no noise, and inside the house there's music. I can hear from outside my daughter shouting, whatever. So I get in, not doing any noise, and to give her a surprise. And as soon as I get in, she's, "Hi, mom," shouting me from upstairs. She's like, I have 2 floors, and she's always upstairs in the living room. So she's like, "Hi, mom, how are you doing?" At this point, she cannot see my face, nothing, but she senses that I am inside the house. Or sometimes, if my daughter is with my mom, she will tell, "Abuela, abuela, mommy is coming," and like 2 minutes later I get into the house. Like, so she can't sense me. I guess with this intuition. Then another example, I don't know, the other day I took her to nursery, and as soon as she got in, there was a kid running, and she told to this kid, Mateo, stop running because you will get hurt. And one teacher went to tell to my daughter, listen, the fact that people are running doesn't mean that they will get hurt. And whatever, I left. And then the day after, when I go to pick her up, this same kid was bleeding. They called the ambulance. The parent appeared running, took him to the hospital because he fall. And I felt like she just said yesterday if he was running, he was going to get hurt. I felt like that was her intuition. Like, she knew something was going to happen to him. Thanks God, he just got, like, I think, a very deep cut very close to the eye, and they had to, don't know how to say this in English, but they had to sew him or whatever. But anyways, I think she predicted this. And also, okay, this is the last one, so I don't want to get anyone bored with this. But for example, when I'm in the house, and for some reason, I'm doing something, and my mind goes to the past, to a bad memory. I start revisiting a bad memory. Like, she comes, she's like, she looks at my eyes. If I'm sitting or something, she sits next to me and she's, Mommy, are you okay? ¿Estás bien? And I'm like, oh, yes. So she brings me, to here and now. But other times I'm there, like in this same way of thinking, oh, maybe I forgot to do that or this or that. And when I'm in the same state of like thinking on something, she never comes and says, like, she knows when I'm revisiting bad memories. She has a sense, and she tries always to bring me to here and now. By the way, my daughter is 2 years old. So following this line of talking about intuition, to be able to bring that project that you want to bring to life, you need to be able to connect with your intuition, connect with yourself, and listen to your inner voice. That way, you will understand a language that goes beyond words. It's like that intuition that shows you what you can't see with your eyes. Okay, so this is the last phrase I want to highlight from The Alchemist. Everyone seems to have a clear idea about how other people should lead their lives, but none about his or her own. I guess it's great to take advice from people, but don't try to replicate someone else's journey. Don't follow blindly to the advice other people give you. Always make decisions based on what aligns with your values and with your purpose. Focus on your own journey and create something unique. Let your own personality, let your true personality and unique input to shine through. And for that, you really need to believe in yourself. Otherwise, you will feel constantly dangerously tempted to mimic others' paths to success. Don't be selfish. Going all in with your dreams, it doesn't mean to be a dickhead. For example, if you are a father and if you have 3 kids, you will have to make your passion to work around your reality. And of course, to make that happen, you will have to be very creative. If pursuing your passion means that now this father, we don't have time to spend time with his kids or his wife, then that means that that father It's now letting go that dream he had before of starting, a family. Now he's leaving that dream behind to go and, go to chase the next dream. That is immature and that is childish. So let's say, again, this example, you are a father of 3 kids and your dream is to travel around the world alone. Well, pursuing that dream, it's morally inappropriate. You can do it, of course, but yes, it will be awful. It's like, yes, guys, by the way, so I can shine, you all have to suffer. This dream then isn't a passion, isn't your purpose in that father's purpose in life. That dream, it's more like a fleeting desire, or it can be described as a whim. But what about if that same father of 3 kids sits down, talk with the wife, and they agree to travel the world together as a family, and they get super creative to see how on earth they can make it happen as a family and all together? Well, maybe they arrive to the conclusion that they can buy a caravan and, I don't know, start traveling around Europe, while maybe one of the parents homeschool these 3 kids, another of the parents will go working, and every 4 months they can change countries. But in the meantime, when they are in a specific place on weekends, or when the parent that works have days off, they can go with the caravan, they can explore, they can be in nature. Of course, it's not like traveling alone, but doing it this way, pursuing a passion this way, for this father, it will be purposeful, because he wouldn't be causing all that harm. That means leaving a family behind just to try to pursue one passion. If that same father travels alone, he will do it in very different terms. But that way, doing it alone, he will cause more harm than good. And when you have a true passion, that passion always involves satisfaction also in those people around you. If that passion creates a lot of pain, a lot of harm in those people who are next to you, then that's not a passion and you are confusing it. No one gets it free to harm others. People always in life pays their bills. Maybe not now, but if someone makes something that is not appropriate, he can pay his bill in 10 years, in 20 years, it will always be paid. There is a phrase that says, be aware of what you are sowing today. Good or bad, a bountiful harvest is coming. You don't reap what you sow. You will always reap much more than what you initially sow. No one is above the, let's call it universe law. People always fall in their own traps sooner or later. And with this, I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad, but if you can acknowledge that you have made, or that you are making, or you are making poor decisions, you can acknowledge it. It's never late to acknowledge it. And after acknowledging, you will have to give another step forward and look for a way to solve what you have done wrong. Or you can find the way to change. But basically, I've said all these because I want to clearly explain that when you want something meaningful, and when you want to achieve something that is truly aligned with you, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. When your passion is genuine and it's inclusive, there is always a way, there is always a path to realize it. Be creative and you will always find the way. Confusing your passion with a whim will always bring constant negativity into your life. Not only negativity, but also toxic people. And if you realize right now you think you're trying to strive for your passion, but you are stuck in a circle of negativity, you're stuck with people you don't really want to be with, then that means that you need to pivot. You need to pivot and discover which is your real purpose or passion in life. Because you are in the wrong pathway at the moment if you are in those circumstances of negativity. I was talking about that example of the father of three kids dreaming to travel around the world. Now let's change a bit this, and let's imagine we are talking about someone who has no kids, someone who is 18 years old or plus, and that same person wants to travel around the world alone. Well, then I tell that person, start right now. Start researching, travel as soon as you can. Just do it. Go for it. Go all in. You have nothing that stops you. There is million ways to achieve a dream, like traveling around the world these days. And if you say, oh, I have no money, that's an excuse, because you can go from country to country and you can stop and work a bit here and then travel and work a bit there, and there's always a way. And if you tell me, no, but my parents don't support me, well, I tell you, that's their issue to resolve. Placing their expectations of who you should be on your shoulders isn't fair. And like I was referring, parents placing expectations on their own kids. It's not the kid's problem, it's not the kid's issue, just is a parent's problem. That's it, nothing else. If there's someone 18 plus who wants to travel the world, there's no excuse, not even that the parents don't want that to happen. That which gives you passion and joy is an indicator of what your purpose in life is. When it comes to developing your career, try to define your values, follow your passion, and find your purpose. But yes, we all know following this advice is not as easy as it sounds. Identifying and understanding which are our values, which is our purpose, and which is our passion takes introspection and self-discovery. It requires us to look carefully to which are our beliefs and motivations to get clarity on what truly matters to us. But, well, then that's just the beginning. Then we will need to find a job or a career, or we will even need to create a space where we can implement our passion. But no matter how complex it is to find your purpose in life, remember that you have potential, and not because I say it, but because you say it. I invite you to do this simple exercise where you grab your phone, you put a timer for 3 minutes, and you keep on repeating to yourself, I have potential, I have potential, until the alarm starts. It will be like, repeating a positive affirmation to yourself. Then tomorrow you go to the mirror and you pronounce this affirmation, I have potential, but this time in front of a mirror, looking at yourself and speaking out loud. And yes, you do it again for 3 minutes. It has to be something easy, otherwise you won't be able to maintain it in, the long term. Yes, in the beginning, you will naturally feel like a loser, like you will feel like a fool, you will feel like, what the hell I am doing? I look so stupid. But anyways, keep on doing it until one day you won't feel uncomfortable at all. Because at that point, you will really feel that you have potential. Stop treating yourself like garbage. Yes, I know a lot of people feel quite comfortable and feel okay when they say to themselves awful things like, you're good for nothing, you haven't achieved anything important in life, you won't get there what you really want, right? People say to themselves, I've done this at some points of my life too, repeatedly. And it's funny because when you do that, you feel okay. Like, not like, you feel comfortable. But as soon as you start telling you, I have potential, that is when you feel, oh, weird, when you feel, oh, cringe, like, I can't do this. This is ridiculous. Yeah? When you say nice things to you, it's too cringy, you can't do it. But when you feed yourself with the worst messages ever, then you are there, chill. That has to change. You have to change that. Come on, you have to stop that internal war of who I am to go and chase my dreams. I am not enough. I'm going to fail, and everybody will see me failing, and then everybody will confirm that I am a loser. Don't feel guilty to give yourself the permission to go and chase your passion in life. And I get it. I don't live in another world. I know that job, that conventional job, so many times pays so much better than, doing something you're passionate about. But you decide if you want to get creative and you want to make your life revolve around your passion and your purpose, or you choose if you want your life to revolve around what you are supposed to do. Or I don't know. In another case scenario is that you can find a way to combine your conventional job and also pursuing your passion. That will be epic. That's great. But I don't know how it won't be easy to find the right times to combine both, but a lot of people actually do, and it's possible too. Remember, now when you start going all in, most chances are you won't be an overnight success. Neither I am being an overnight success at all in this project that I'm going all in now in my life. But remember that it's not you against others. It's not you against the competition. Actually, the competition can be your best friend, can teach you amazing things, can help you evolve so much quicker. Competition is actually, you have to, grab hand by hand with the competition because they can help you skyrocket your project so much quicker than what you think. But what's the thing? The problem is that this project, trying to succeed in life, is a competition between you versus your own mind. It's a competition of you against all your limiting beliefs. Thanks for making it all the way here. And if you want to watch more content, I highly recommend you this video where I talk all about how to navigate through conflicts in relationships without losing your mind in the process.